Hi, and welcome to Business Advisory and Tax Tips Special Edition. Will there be a second stimulus check coming out next Monday? Stay tuned. I have all the details on the latest proposed draft, latest draft that will be hopefully signed by Congress this evening if all goes well. So first, I'm Michelle Burke, coming to you live from Annapolis, Maryland. Many of you know that after 30 years as a CPA and corporate tax accountant, I went out on my own in January and formed Health and Taxes. There are only two things certain in the world, death and taxes. I'm here to help you flip that to health and less taxes. I come to you live on Wednesdays to give you an update on the stimulus, business advice, and tax tips. But since we've been waiting for months and months on the second stimulus package, and we finally have a bill, it's 5,593 pages. Yes, 5,593 pages of that bill, which is being reviewed by the House and Senate currently. Hopefully there'll be a vote on it tonight. I want to give you all the details around stimulus check, the PPP, unemployment, and evictions. So let's jump in. So first, where we left off last week is that there was still debate going on, and we were looking at a $916 billion bill that they were carving up. And so where we've ended up is with a $900 billion bill. I'll tell you what's left out of it at the end. Where we're at is last night there was a movement or a vote to delay the omnibus government funding until tonight at midnight. So tonight at midnight, they have to extend the omnibus government funding bill again if it doesn't get through the House, the Senate, and signed by the president. So we have until midnight. They've been reading or getting updated on the bill all day today. They do have opportunities to discuss it, but everybody's feeling very, very confident that for once, finally, that it will go through the House, the Senate, and get signed by the president. So Steve Mnuchin, U.S. Secretary of Treasury, came out earlier today, and said that if this gets passed, that checks will be going out, payments will be going out Monday. So Monday, December 28th, which means that you could be seeing them in your bank account by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Fantastic. And reminder that they have all the information this time, so they'll be a lot faster for most people than they were in last March. Last March, it came out in waves. This time, the batches will be bigger and faster because they already have all that information. It's still going to be based off of 2019 information or 2018 if you still haven't filed the 2019. So they're going to take all the information they currently have. So let's dig into it. Let's talk about what is in this huge bill. First and foremost is the stimulus. So the second stimulus check will be $600 per adult, $600 per child, and it will not go to adult qualified. It will not go to adult dependents. So again, the child $600 is defined as under 17. So that was the same as last time. So those college age dependents and those elderly dependents are not included once again. The thresholds are the same as far as 75,000 is where up to 75,000 you'll get as a single person, you'll get the full stimulus. Up to 150,000 you'll get the full stimulus for married filing joint. Then after that, every $100 after that, it'll be reduced by 5,000. So it'll be phased out to zero at 87,000 for singles and 174,000 for married filing jointly. So that's a little bit different than last time. because there's more money to phase out, actually. So it's the same phase out rate. There's just less money to phase out, if that makes sense. Mixed family status. So previously, if a couple, one had a social security number and another had an I-10, then the children, they did not get the $500 per child. This time, if the same facts reside, the children, there will be $600 per child. There still won't be for the I-10 holder. So some good news in that situation. So I think that kind of covers it on the stimulus. Again, it's not taxable income. If you still haven't gotten your first stimulus check, and you're probably not in line for the second stimulus check because they don't have your information, you can still make up for that when you file your 2020 return. There'll be an opportunity for a tax credit related to the stimulus. So it's not too late. You're not missing out. The second thing I wanted to talk about is unemployment. So unemployment has ended up at $300 for the additional federal unemployment. That will start December 27th and go through, go 11 weeks. I'm missing my date. March 14th is the date of the last payment. So that'll go 11 weeks. In addition to that federal $300, state unemployment, the PUA and the PEUC, those will also be extended 11 weeks. So if you're running up against your 39-week cap, that will be extended another 11 weeks. So a 50-week total that you can collect unemployment. So those unemployment checks are not retroactive, and they're also back being congressionally approved. Now, again, let me restate that the bill is done. It still has to be voted on by the House, by the Senate, and the President before it becomes law. I'm just telling you what's in the bill and that we actually have a bill that all the parties are saying that they agree to. So, so those unemployment checks will be, those unemployment checks will start as of December 27th. So no retroactive. And remember, we had under the CARES Act, the original $600 a week. And then later we had an executive order that was under FEMA, and then the states had to do it. This will be back under being a congressional order. And so it'll follow the process that the original checks followed. So that administration of those was a little better and more consistent throughout the states, because the states didn't have to go apply for it through FEMA. They were able to just get that money from the Fed and send it on with your unemployment. So let me know if you have any questions on any of this. I'm happy to entertain comments because I know it's very confusing. The third thing I wanted to talk about is the PPP. So the PPP is would be a second round of PPP. There's about $325 billion in there for small businesses. There'll be more limitations on who qualifies this time. Your business's income has to be down 25% over, it's quarter by quarter, but 25% decline in business income. There is still an opportunity. There's $140 billion of that still sitting out there from the first, extended from the first CARES Act. So it's not clear how you would apply for that first PPP if you didn't get it, but there is funds still there for you if you didn't get the first round to possibly take care of the second round. There's acknowledgement that hotel and food services / restaurants were hit the hardest. They're trying to provide additional assistance to these small businesses. And one of the biggest things, a huge win for small businesses, is not only is the PPP money, if you use it properly and it's forgiven, you have to file for the forgiveness, but if it's used properly for qualified expenses, not only is the income not taxable, but also you get to double dip and you get to take a deduction for tax expenses. So that you spent the money on. So that is really, really crazy. This concept of double dipping, there's been a lot of discussion on it, but that's a huge win for small businesses. So technically, let's say you had $10,000 of PPP. You spent that $10,000 on qualified expenses such as wages, rents, utilities, and whatnot. You got that forgiven. You still get to deduct those wages, rents from your normal income that you've earned. So that's a really huge win for small businesses. So there was a lot of push for that, and I just wanted to let people know that's out there. The EIDL is also continued. You have to have a 30% loss. These are typically loans in low income areas. And all of the, both the PPP and the EIDL have 300 or less employees, and a 25% reduction in revenues for the PPP, but a 30% reduction in revenues for the EIDL. I don't know why they have a difference there, but they do have a difference there. The other item to help businesses, especially restaurants, is the restored deductibility of the meals expense. So if you had a business meal expense, you could only deduct 50% of that expense off your tax return. But for the next 2 years, you're going to be allowed to have 100% deductibility. This is meant to encourage small business meals. Now, no one's doing business like they used to. They're not sitting down having a business meal like they used to, but this is good for the next 2 years. So an opportunity to take that full deduction. The employer retention tax credit has been increased. That's still out there. So this is for the employer. This is going to be $10,000 per quarter per person. So it's really encouraging employers to retain employees, get these $10,000 per person per quarter. It's kind of like withholding taxes. The next item is vaccines. The whole purpose is to get free, make it available for free. All the different vaccines coming out from Moderna and et cetera. So trying to money for that to make it free. A last minute thing that came in either last week or maybe the week before, but I think it was last week, with Chuck Schumer really pushed for Save the Stages. So $15 billion is in for live entertainment venues. So a lot of small entertainment venues, theaters, concerts will have access to that money. So again, a small business, but a particular small business. There's money in there for transportation, as we mentioned last week. Renter's assistance. So a couple good things here. The Eviction Protection is going through January 31st of 2021. There's $25 billion that will be dispersed to the states, and then the states will disperse it to landlords. But either the tenant or the landlord can apply for it. It's for future rents, back rents, rents in arrears, up to 12 months back, utilities, and some other unknown expenses. So a lot of money in there for renter assistance. Highly recommend that you keep an eye out for this if you're going to apply for it, because it has that short window through January 31st. There's probably some sort of portal that'll come out, and that it sounds like the tenants can apply for it, but the money will go directly to the landlord, and the landlords can apply for it on behalf of a tenant to make sure that they get paid if their tenants don't do it. So there's a lot on that. To qualify for that, the states, it's going to be administrated by each state. So it's going to be a little bit different rules, but they have to follow some of the qualifications. The qualifications say that the area housing authority determines what the median income is. And with that median income, anybody at the 50% median income. So you can go out there, you can look at charts in your county usually to see what the median income is. And if you have at 50% of that median income, and those median incomes are listed like one person, two people with 3 children, or 4 people with 2 children, or if you're single parent, and you can look at those median incomes to see if you might qualify. You also have to have one person unemployed in the household or the rental unit. So there's a lot of guidelines and a lot of information on that. So happy to share more of that with you if you'd like. Money is going to childcare, to schools. Money is going to the SNAP program and to farmers. Money is also going to hospitals. And apparently there's a military 3% pay raise. So happy holidays to the military for getting their 3% pay raise. So what is not in the bill? There's no extra for essential workers. There's no student loan forgiveness. Now there's still the student loan deferrals through, I believe, March 31st, but there's no student loan forgiveness. And there's no state and local funding. Remember, that was the big push by the Democrats. And on the flip side of that, there's no business liability protection. So that was the give and take between the Democrats in the House and the Republicans in the Senate. They agreed to each gave up their fight to get something through. So let's hope that we still see that happening. So a huge shout out. I want to give a huge shout out to Meet Kevin on YouTube. He went through the 5,593 pages. He's been analyzing it. I've got a lot of my information from him. He also provided a copy of the entire bill. I have that. If someone should want a copy of that, just comment below. I'm happy to share a PDF with you on that if you want to read through that. So then again, I think that's all I have. So we are waiting for the House to vote, and then really, really hopeful that happens tonight. If it doesn't, the House has to vote, the Senate has to vote, and the president has to sign before it becomes the law. All that needs to take place tonight. Otherwise, there needs to be an extension of the omnibus government funding and till tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever. But I know they're all Congress is all wanting to go home. So hopefully, it's a lot for them to digest, all these pages of the bill. But then again, they've been talking about it for months and months and months. So hopefully they can get through that. But the fact that I haven't seen anything coming out saying this is the time the House is voting on the bill, I don't want to say it, but there's a possibility it will get pushed. So I think Mnuchin has made it very clear whether it gets signed today, tomorrow, or Wednesday. They are all set up at Treasury to release those payments on Monday. And so that's at least exciting. I know it's not as much money as a lot of us had hoped for. And but I'm very excited that after all this back and forth, that we actually have something, and it looks very promising that we will have it in the next day or two. So thank you for joining me. If you jump on here and catch it in replay, please watch it on my YouTube channel. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, Health and Taxes. I appreciate you sharing, comment, liking. The more feedback I get on that channel, the more I'll continue bringing you updates. I'll also bring you other business advice and tax tips. I'm looking to do business advice tax tips on home office deductions. What are qualified expenses because I know a lot of people are looking at their taxes right now and getting prepared for year end and want to understand what qualifies and what doesn't. All right, so thanks for tuning in on this special update. I will be back on Wednesday. I come to you every Wednesday at 5 p.m. So I'll be back on Wednesday to give you the latest update. Please make any comments below. I'm happy to take a look at them and address any questions that you might have. Thanks for joining me. Good night.